Okay, for number 13, we have a collection of nickels, dimes, and quarters, right? Nickels, dimes, and quarters. So this one is going to be a little bigger table, right? Because we have nickels, dimes, quarters, and the mix, right? So we have the number of coins times the value equals the dollar amount for that. So let's see what they tell us. They have 30 coins of nickels, dimes, and quarters, and it's worth $4.60. There are two more dimes than quarters. So a couple ways we could do this. We could do N, D, and Q, and then we could say that the value of a nickel is 0.05, the value of a dime is 0.10, the value of a quarter is 0.25. So this is 0.05N, 0.1D, and 0.25Q, right? And one of the equations is right down the first column, right? It's this one. So it's N plus D plus Q equals 30. And then the other equation is down this side, which is 0.05N plus 0.1D plus 0.25, this is a D, right? D, Q equals 4.60. But then there's one other equation they gave us. They said that there are two more dimes than quarters. So dimes equals two more than the quarters. Q plus 2. So what we're going to have to do, we're going to have to take this extra piece of information, right? And we're going to have to substitute this Q plus 2 into here and into here. We kind of have to eliminate one of these variables because we have 3. So I'm going to consider this my system of equations after I substitute the Q plus 2 in for D. So now I'm left with, in the top equation, N plus D, which is Q plus 2, plus Q equals 30. And the bottom equation is 0.05N plus 0.1D, but D is Q plus 2, plus 0.25Q equals 4.60. So here is my system of equations. So I can simplify that, right? So let's simplify. The top one, I have two Q's in there. So it's N plus 2Q plus 2 equals 30. So equals 28. So there's the top equation simplified. And the bottom equation won't be as easy to simplify, but I have 0.05N plus 0.1Q plus 0.2 plus 0.25Q equals 4.6 Q, right? Okay. So now we simplify. I have 0.05N, I have 0.1Q and 0.75 or 0.25Q. That's 0.35Q plus 0.2 equals 4.6. Then we can subtract 0.2. So I have 0.05N plus 0.35Q equals 4.4. So there's the second equation. So the two equations now are this one and this one, right? So if I write those, I have N plus 2Q equals 28, and 0.05N plus 0.35Q equals 4.4. Right, there's my two equations. So I'm going to solve the top one for N. So I have N equals 28 minus 2Q. And the bottom one is 0.05N plus 0.35Q equals 4.4. And now I can substitute 28 minus 2Q in for N. So let me clear some of this space over on the left so I can go back to writing, right? Okay, so for people who fast forward to the end of the problem, they probably aren't going to understand the flow of this, but we'll do our best here. Okay, so now to solve this equation right here, right, we were down in purple, right? Okay, so the bottom equation becomes 0.05 times N, which is 28 minus 2Q, plus 0.35Q equals 4.4. So we distribute, and I'm going to come up here. 0.05 times 28. 0.05 times 28 is 2.8, 1.4. 1.4. Minus 2 times 0.05Q, so that's a 0.1Q, plus 3.5, or 0.35Q, 35Q, equals 4.4. Our like terms here, so I have 1.4 minus 0.1 plus 0.35, that's plus 0.25Q, equals 4.4. Subtract 1.4, so I have 0.25Q equals 3. And then Q, how many quarters go into $3? 12, right? So I have 12 quarters. Now I need to figure out the number of nickels. So I could use this equation. Let me circle this one, right? And I could do N equals 28 minus 2Q. So N equals 28 minus 24. So N equals 4, right? So that's the second. We have 4 nickels. And then the total number of coins was 30. That was our first equations, right? So we have 30 has to equal the number of nickels, which is 4, plus the number of quarters, which is 12, plus the number of dimes. So that means 30 equals 16 plus D, 14 equals D. So here's our final answer, right? Nickels, and I'm abbreviating, you should not, is 4. Dimes is 14. And quarters is 12.